How did Freddie go? Now that I'm hearing you around me, love is just a touch away. Oh, love is just a touch away. It's just a touch away. Love is just. Oh, that was my favorite Freddie. Love is just a touch away. It's just a touch away. Circled. Love is just a touch. Love is just a touch. Love is just a touch away. Ah, all right. That'll do it. We can get into it. No. Thank you. Will the power of blue argonite propel you? Will the power of blue argonite propel you? Will the power of blue argonite propel you? We're giving up that straight up virgin energy, baby. One of its purest forms in crystal form. So we're giving you the fork, the pitchfork, trident in its purest form to cut through ignorance. We give you the diamond energy that amplifies everything that you do. Let me show the virgin in its full form. May this help you move through space-time, however you need to move. And I give you the mantra for those of you who dare bring this up or down. Not to say that I'm a deceiver, now I'm going to give it to you in sound. That's why they put all this in there. Because this is that essence. because this is the intention why they made it. So here I give you the Virgin sound. Music can move and remove. I'm going to have to do you in. Ugh. Well, good morning. Want y'all to mourn. Guten Morgen. Well, for those of you that have never dug me before, I am Big Pontiac, and this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am also the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am also your one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of the Chocolate Mountaineers to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to infinity. And tonight's beer is one of the local beers. Not really so local. Let's see when this beer was made. Nothing on it that tells me when it's made. Guess I'm slippy. Usually stamped. Anyway, we are going with Red Axe Irish Ale, which is really becoming another one of my favorites. And this comes from Moose Lake, Minnesota, which is just north of me. Yeah, probably hour or so. So pop them if you got them. Again, I've got the barrel mug, and you do not. And tonight, even though I took this motherfucker about 6:30. I'm still buzzing. I did hit my big bong. You know, I had that big bong in that back room, and room is like some cheek and chong shit. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. Oh, and got these two. Now these are still this is the old stuff. The new stuff is 0.5 THC. This stuff is the old stuff, but that's okay. It's 125 milligrams per gummy, 20 gummies. Dynamite in the candy. Very low too. 0.3 grams of sugar. Very low sugar for a very high buzz. Oh shit. What's happening, Lobo? What's happening, man? I'm sorry. I got off work at 9. Missed your show, you know. Had to talk to my girl. I hadn't called my mama, you know. Kind of got to get them in. So I'm sorry I missed your show. I love your work. Love your work. I love your mind. For a young cat, you know, I love your mind, bro. Crazy Sarge. Oh my goodness. I was talking about you last night about the coins and stuff. Man. You can make that stuff. Yeah, there we go. No morning here. Yeah, exactly. As soon as I said it, I thought that stuff. Exactly. As soon as I said it, I thought that stuff. Gosh, guys. Dudes be wanting to play. Oh, tonight, you know, Acid Blondie. Thought I lost it. Really did. Thought I lost it. But I don't. I have it. Oh man, my mouth gets so dry. Not dehydrated. So don't tell anybody I'm dehydrated. Don't anybody say, well, you're probably dehydrated. No, it's the goddamn medicine. So I know what causes it. But this helps. So, so I like that. So that's why I need this. Keeps my mouth dry. So I got chapstick. All right, I got some shit to talk. Oh, and I'm sorry. Now, I'm going to get up if I didn't bring my pad. Really? Really? It's right there. Okay, I'm going to have to get up. It is not. It is here. All right. All right. I guess I'm gonna attack a couple things first. I'm gonna show you where some of this shit don't work. I think that's fair. There he is. Return of. This is my brother here. Great state of Michigan. All right, I'm glad you on here too. I'm gonna give you this story. I'm gonna tell y'all where free will fail you. Okay. All right. I should be able to go with that. I'm gonna tell you guys where free will is a trap. It's a trick almost. That'll be the first thing I'm gonna talk about. Now there's two witches that like me. The Love and Above and the actress Dana Delaney. They fucked with me. I thank you. Thank you. I think you guys sent me a couple licks. Thank you for it. I'll say this. And through I'll say this. I think in some ways they wanted me to kind of use this what I'm about to use and tell you why free will ain't really what you think it is. And how you can still be tricked despite free will. And free will is like free will is like a battery. Once you turn it on. So I told you the story about the Love and Above chick. The Love and Above chick had enchanted me. All right? I'm just here meditating, and this chick enchanted me. You know where you see the old cartoon and the witch has the dude by the nose and the dude is flying in the air and shit? This is what she had. But to fully enchant me, I have quite a protective ray. She had to give me the free will to walk out of my protective way, despite being enchanted. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So I'm enchanted and I follow her out. And she told me, I will give you everything in the world. Just bow down to me and marry me. Now, the problem with free will is what I just mentioned. If you're under enchantment, free will still operate. If you really think free will is that important in your life, that everyone needs free will, and we should base everything, okay, well, let's tell you about free will. Free will operate under an enchantment. It won't stop. It might enhance the enchantment. I mean, if that's what you rely on and enchantment comes, you will be under free will. They will use free will against you. Just as she did against me. She used that against me. I had to step out my own boundaries. Even though I was enchanted. It doesn't seem to matter. I, because of free will, stepped out of safety. Because she couldn't drag me out. I had to make my own choice. Even though it was a foggy choice under free will. Under free will. She couldn't just drag me out. But being enchanted, I can go out and she can claim that the contract was settled because she gave me the free will to come out. I chose to go. When she let go, okay, it's like this. She let go, but I can still see her. So what do you think I'm going to do? Under enchantment. Because she can say under the contract, I just led him to the line. I just led him there. But I'm still looking at you. The thing that I've been desiring these last few moments. And you still right there, and I'm still desiring you. Free will is pushing me through. If that's what you think you need to be under, free will work in enchantments. You can be enchanted and still follow free will. Getting by, okay. So I want you to understand that free will isn't everything it's cracked up to be. And you say, well, what do we do in return? What do we do in return? Okay, if you say we take away free will, we don't have the free will to do anything, what does that turn into? And I go back to what my man said. When the information comes in, you look at the information and say, what does that mean to me? That's exactly the filter you should live under instead of some fucking free will. Everything that comes in, you should look at it and say, what does that mean to me? Instead of relying on something that could be manipulated as simply an enchantment. Because again, one of my friends asked me about, write her something so her man to come back to her. And I said, yeah, I can do that. Which, really I wouldn't. But I'm saying it's, it may not, it'd be like bedazzled. Yeah, I can put it together, but it don't mean like he won't steal from you. Won't mean that he won't have other chicks. Yeah, he'll be with you, but it don't mean all that else could happen too. That's why most people won't touch that kind of thing. It's almost forbidden. But they still get away enchanted. So do you see how free will could be used against you? That's my number one thing. Get ready for it. What does he call quantum consciousness? Is that what you call, brother? I'm an old man right now. There's my man PJ. What's happening, bro? Damn, it's a name. Oh, my cousin. I had a cousin that played Ohio State. Grew up in Ohio, named Charles Macon. Charles was probably older than you, I'm guessing. Charles was younger than Mark Macon, though. Charles was probably 4 years younger than Mark. But I wonder, he played at Ohio State for a while. Kind of know last time he had gotten in a little trouble. Naughty Drills of America. All right, bro. Let me break this down. Quantum consciousness, is that you? All right. It's reckless. It's reckless, man. It's reckless to try to teach people that only might hear some shit from you, and you only gonna show one angle of it. You ain't gonna tell the whole story. That's reckless. That's reckless, man. Is that what you about? You a reckless kind of dude that teaches recklessness to prove your point to your followers? That's what you do. You just get reckless. You talk some shit and you don't read the fine print. You talk some shit and you don't read the fine print. If I'm gonna talk some shit, that means I done read all this shit. I didn't just say, well, 188. It says, then one should make fine offerings. What is this? You got to make offerings. What is this? You sound like a motherfucking simpleton, dude. You sound like a simpleton. And that's misleading. And if that's what you want to be is misleading, that's cool. What should be taught about this, anybody can do. Anybody can do. When somebody dying, you had a head facing the east, just like the sun rise. The head should face the east, feet should face the west. You should rub the head Top of the head. I've talked about that many times before. And to try to guide them to coming straight out. Now, for the masters, there's a lot more that the master has to know. And I will talk about that too. Because that black comes quick. Comes quick. And that black starts to come. It's almost like the Matrix when he puts his thing and that stuff comes on you. It's almost like that, but it's all black. And the time that black starts to come, masters have to do several things. You have to start shutting all this stuff down. So you force everything out. Only this book shows it. It shows you how to do that. Now, you're saying different entities you may run across. That ain't really what it says. What it says is disagreeable. Because most people would come across this and be scared than a motherfucker. And there's a point of this book over and over again. You make the disagreeable agreeable. Over and over again, it talks about that. But again, you didn't read the whole book. You just got the cliff notes. Now, some people practice the sacred circle. I'm a directional person. And when I have to go to these directions, I might face something like that. There ain't too much to show you how to deal with stuff like that, my friend. And I would tell you, you have never been in the ethers and looked at something disagreeable and learned how to make it agreeable. I doubt you can meditate. I doubt your typewriter ever quits typewriting. Doubt you can just sit there and just take a moment and shut it all off. And this book also shows you the directions of these disagreeable beings, bro. And it shows you the male and female element of it. But these are just realm holders. That's all. They're just realm holders. So no, not all of it. You don't need all of it. It's a hard read. Yeah, it's a hard read. I agree. Boring. Very boring reading. Very boring to read about preparing of dead. But for those who want to go further, it's essential. Because a lot of things don't, a lot of this, what it says, a lot of people can't deal with this. A lot of people don't know what to discern it. Now, quantum of consciousness, you want to talk so much shit, say some shit about this here. See how much you can read and see if they come in your dreams, if your dreams is the same. Because you read this shit, they're going to come at you. Not at you, but they're going to come to see why you're reading they shit. So if you brave enough, it's only about $18, $15. I'll buy you a copy. You need a copy, send me your shit. I'll send you a copy and see if you can read this. See if you can deal when they come see why you reading that shit. Don't be reckless. Because this ain't your thing. It ain't your thing. You stepping out of your lane. You are stepping out of your lane. Hey, Jody, what's happening? Bob Child. Is it Bob Childs? That's Quantum of Consciousness. Agreed. Great book it is. Hey, Vodka. Hey, Jody, if I didn't say it. So, nigga, quit being reckless, man. Quit being reckless. That's all I'm saying. Don't tell people that ain't never read this shit that, you know, this stuff, there's only, don't paint the whole picture. I ain't never said everything. I'm sitting there, I'm a Buddhist. I never said that. I said that there are very important things that you can take out of this information that are useful for masters. Okay? And for those that can read this stuff and practice, hey, that's what it is. Article about the heads of the Aztec being used in the sacred. Yeah, see, you read this book too. One thing that dude that wrote the American Holocaust, I know you read that book too. One thing he said is he said that the Aztecs killings is highly exaggerated. What I say, when other people have massacred a lot of people, but all the people, as many people didn't die. You know, that's another thing. Many people didn't die of disease. People got away, kept getting away, and kept getting away. Even Obawiji went all the way up to northern Minnesota. So hey, people was able to get away. So you saying, and then the people that you took under, to say to make a deal go agreeable, you would have to live through interpretation, but you'd have to make facts out of what your free will state facts, I would think. Let me read. So to make the disagreeable agreeable, you would have to live through the interpretation, but then you would have to make facts out of what your free will state fact. That is interesting. That is interesting. Well, I'll say, you know, and I don't mean to say it in to simplify form, but it really is easy as this. In shamanism, what it basically says is, once you find where you have to porthole through to get to the underworld or get through the direction, because that's the way shamanism does it. It doesn't really give you a center point. It's always a way you've got to go in and pretty much a way you got to go out. I see the easiness and why they do that. And then you would call onto your spirit animal, or your spirit animal will be waiting, and then you would move through there. And through, I would even dare say, yes, it could be guides once you got in, but you would have to at some point, not some point, but sometimes you would run into a type of being that through appearance would seem unagreeable. But sometimes through just simple conversation, it would see that you're not really trying to use it or take any energy from it. And that's in the most simplistic way to explain it. And the other way is, I would say too, is sometimes when I would go in, I would close my eye. When all this would come open, I am like a pimple on this giant head. I mean, my face it's almost like this kind of relationship. You know, I come in and then I'm against something. I'm the little head and I'm against something big as me, where I can see it, but it's like I'm so small on it. Now, in that interpretation of me being so surprised that I'm pressed up against something so big, I could think that it's not agreeable because it's come in a form and it wants me to recognize a form that's overwhelming. If you understand. And then really in some regards, it just wants you to notice it. So. Or with that, you can't live free flowing with the universe, or with that would be wrong. I would say if you are non-trino, none of that matters. Like, what is the free will of a neutrino? That nothing can lock, nothing can trap. It's just moving. So I don't even necessarily. I would say again, what would free will would be far as that neutrino? Neutrino is when it's created, it automatically goes away from black holes. And there is nothing it can't penetrate, nor can it be trapped. So does that need free will? I guess that's the next question. Does something like that need free will? Because its main job is it repels black holes. So it does its main job. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways to look through it too. Oh shit. About to put trash and I got beer in here. Glad it didn't get in there. But that is definitely something we can all ponder. We can consider. That's all. And that you can't live free flowing with the universe, or would that be wrong? So that would be, you know, my interpretation of how to deal with that, or how it would come up. I would just say that would be my example. That is something that doesn't need free will. That is something that naturally is going to move through things. I mean, it's just like think of a time crystal. A time crystal, there's no free will about a time crystal. It is created to duplicate in space time. But it also creates universes, and it creates universe without any energy because it has enough energy in what it's creating. So I wonder, do you look at that? Does that have free will? Once it starts, the ability to start without needing any other kind of energy. And that to me is the God energy there, because you have a source that doesn't need anything else to continue, and not only continue to replicate. In some ways, if you look at that kind of thing, that is closer to what we are. We are almost type of time crystals, because if you think of the human being able to replicate itself, we don't know how many years. So, but beautiful responses, Crazy Sarge. But hell, I already know. You're a great thinker. I already know. So please take notice of what he said, because that's worthy too. So I just wanted to say that. Quit being reckless in teaching, dude. Quit being reckless in teaching quantum of science. I dig what you're saying, but I've never said that this is the only way. I'm saying that there are parts that are useful, bruh. And I know you watch my shit. So quit being reckless. Because if you don't read the whole thing, and the only time a person hears it is your, again, your very narrow view of only a little bit of the information, and not the whole information. And again, who are you going to run into in these deep kind of realms? Oh, and like I said again, about what is it when Christ gets off, because again, the same thing. Christ has to be, when William Defoe is playing Christ has to jump off on his own, right? That is it. Christ jumps off. The devil can't make him, but Christ jumps off the cross, and then Christ looks at the little shining angel and says, "I thought I was the one." And the little shining angel says, "No, you weren't." Again, he lets something outside of himself tell him that he ain't the one. But it had to, I guess it had to let him jump off the cross. Now, let me tell you, I was talking to a friend about Christ consciousness. Now, this is a good segue. Now, the witch is right. Love or above is the perfect way to be. When you wake up, you should really say, "I'm abundance. I am love. I can be loved." No matter what. No matter what. That's how you should wake up. You should not wake up with any fear, any worries. In this day and age, we can all work over those and work out of those. You should love, self-love. I can receive love. I can give love. I am abundance. I don't worry about this shit because I am abundance. In quantum of science, did say something that I think is useful. If you practice your craft enough, you don't have to keep practicing it over and over again. Once you've reached a certain mind of practice, it works. It works. And I guess to give you an example is like I drive and I do a repel spell. Well, I've done it so much that I don't need to do it anymore. It's automatically, when I get in the car, this spell is automatically going to go. Because I've done it so much into this reality. I ain't got to keep doing it every time I drive. I put the opposite spell, or really just the spell of driving, and that's enough. So once you reach a certain point, just manipulate the reality from there. The time crystal will be like a neutron, free-flowing, as it has the power to create and destroy itself at will through manipulating itself time and time again. Don't know if it destroys itself. I don't think it destroys itself. When it replicates, it doesn't destroy itself. It continues. It's like almost like a top. when the top goes this way, the top is creating a reality. When it goes that way, it creates another reality. And that's kind of how the time crystal moves. As the crystal, the top moves like this, it's creating reality. So it's multiplying itself with unlimited energy. Free flowing, yeah, to create and destroy itself. So I don't know if it necessarily needs to destroy itself, because the one that is created from keeps going. Like, as I would show you, if you looked at it like this, if you looked at even putting the time crystal into the sisters, yeah. So if you even put the time crystal, like if you wanted to put the time crystals in the sisters chart, you would put all the time crystals in these different charts. And if say, we had a way to use the time crystals. So we would start all the time crystals in here with the question that we're using the time crystals for, because again, it has to become a certain point where we are able to not harness this for fame or gain, but actually just harness this for our own consciousness. And so we would put the time crystals in here wherever we're trying to create. And then the best ideas would come down to these 4 ideas. And so again, the time crystal. So these are still going, and we wouldn't necessarily need them to die, other than if we did have just a short answer that we needed. So you would be right. And actually these ideas would fade more than they die. They would just fade. And then until we had the final time crystal reality that we would want. Yeah, good idea. But that's you could use it this very way. So I guess they would melt away. They would fade away, because as each succeeding movement ahead, the past seeding would fade away. So I guess that is like destroying itself. It would fade away. Wouldn't be any more use for it. So I get your point there. But this would be a great way to kind of look at it too. And again, for those divination, the sisters, this type of chart right here, this is how to make your reality. To see this kind of work here really makes you see. I know card work is great, but there's very few things to put your ideas in real realities. And that's what this is set up for, to kind of give you the final outcome. So I've shown it many times. Oh, but I want to say this too, is like my last video, I don't know what they did. I was just really trying to practice sound in the place over there. You see what they did to my video, which made no sense. It still doesn't make any sense. I noticed when I was looking at the signals, it was like not 5G over there. And I'm like, why isn't 5G over here? So, but that's all right. I was just testing the other day anyway. So sorry about that. I felt good. I was giving some good information, I thought, and they kind of destroyed my flow. It's good when people start talking. I mean, they listening. And that's the problem sometimes when you're reading, you don't listen so much. So people reading your stuff and they see it in their response. So that's good sometimes. That's good that people listen. I mean, we caught everybody's attention, but I'm glad you had something to add to that. And that's just something we all, I think, can use. What did Dr. Manhattan say when the guy thought he killed him? He's like, that was one of the first things I learned how to do, was split myself into a million pieces. So, you couldn't kill me that way. Remember that? When Dr. Manhattan said, I learned how to do that he was like, that was one of the first things I know how to do, was split myself apart. So if you thought blowing me up was going to split me apart, you had a different thing to think about. So, I do have something else to talk about. Here we go. Somebody asked me to do a review on another book, but this is another book I've been kind of thumbing through, that kind of a sweet little book. So this is a book called Salvation, Melanated People in Love by Bell Hooks. Some sweet little stuff about ah this something like this. Ah, wow. Oh my God, goodness. Uh, as I said about Elaine Brown's book before, there's a lot in Elaine Brown's book, A Taste of Power, that's kind of false. She definitely lies about her being a Black Panther before Bunchy Carter. We know Bunchy Carter was a Black Panther before her. So that's the first lie that we know she tells. But right here it says Elaine's Brown memoir, A Taste of Power, painfully documents the extent to which many young Black males leading the Black militant Black power struggle was psychologically confused, obsessed with grandiose visions of power. They were willing to engage in coercive domination in a way of asserting control and gaining power. While militant Black leaders challenged white supremacy in productive ways, the uncritical embrace of patriarchy, undetermined anti-racist struggling by falsely projecting the idea that Black women were the enemies of Black men. Kind of what we see now. Unlike the generations of hardworking of Black men in the church who had preceded them, they passionately accepted the white man's account of Black masculinity and made it their own. They did not want to be like their fathers. Nathan McCall attests to the fact that their memoir makes me want to holler. I never heard my friends say they wanted to be like their fathers when they grew up. That's like I talked about my great-grandfather and him loving education, but my great-uncle wanting to be a freaking teacher instead of a farmer, owning acres because it was hard work. He became bourgeoisie. Why would we want to be that when we knew our fathers were catching hell? They would be like saying we wanted to catch hell too. Anything, we wanted to be the opposite of our fathers. We didn't want to work for the white man and end up like them. This was the mindset that the new generation of Black males to accept racist notion that fathers were not real men, with the idea that Black women were somehow in cahoots with the white men to keep them down. So cute little book. Cute little book. And again, this is, let me say this. And this is a little inspiration from the witches kind of gave me too. Books are one of the last salvations that's fighting the mind. If there's anything that are fighting this machine, the books are trying to fight it. Again, it's the information age, so the information is out here. But a cute little book. And this is a school book. So, some positive things that we can find. And so some of these arguments that have preceded us have been going on for a while. And we see the same trick again. You guys watching Ethereum, if you guys didn't buy into Ethereum when it was $900, you missed it. I made $600 on Ethereum. Ethereum is up to like 16, 1700. Bitcoin is back. I think it was around 22. Again, I was moving around. I left early. I left before closing bell today. Saw closing bell yesterday. Didn't see it today because I was moving around. So I hope you guys are getting in. While my brother and I had bought in. My brother gave me good advice about buying into Ford. Well, Ford was $5 a share. Ford had went up to $20, but it's back down to around 15. I think General Motors at 35. So look into what you want to see. Gold looked like gold going to go over 1,800 again. Kind of like it down right now. It's a good time to buy gold because gold is down. So the Rolex watches and all that. Oh, houses. Houses is going down. Finally, houses are really going down in price too. So just pay attention. Might be time to buy. I was working on doing long-term food shortage and be able to film this weekend doing okay. Yeah, because like guys don't understand. Like you just think you can make all this water and you can keep that water be alive and not make you sick. That's another thing coming. You store all this water, you're gonna have to keep putting stuff in that water so you can still drink it. Keep that in mind. Water would be one of the quickest things to make you, make you feel like you're dying if you don't get it. So I want to give that little 5 cent in there too. Yeah, have to add that next time. Now, as at work, everybody be wearing the headphones, and I was listening to somebody, and I heard myself like, "Nigga, do something in the back." I was like talking to myself, but someone was like, "Man, nigga, just move that shit," because they were doing something you could hear it. Like, nigga, just, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I said that shit out loud. Like these people coming through. So people say you're saying nigger. Yeah. And I was talking to the phone. You know how you can talk to the TV. When players make a bad play, like nigga, catch it. Ah! I said I lost 20 grand by it. No, it's Big Brown let me down. 20 grand. I just needed Big Brown just that much. 20 grand. Game of inches, they call it. But it was hot here today. It was hot yesterday. I didn't get a cat's air conditioning. They was like melted. I had to scrape them up, throw them some water. Woke them back up. They was sweating. They had like towels around their necks and shit. They had Spuse bottles. They wasn't liking that. Yesterday they had air conditioning on. My cats was in here, wearing their winter coats and shit. They got little winter coats they can put on. Today was the opposite. They was wearing sunglasses and everything, trying to, show their point that I didn't leave the air on. I'm like, you guys can go under the couch, and there's no sun or hot under the couch. Well, there's probably still hot, but it's cooler under the couch than I would think out in the room where hot air is blowing in through the fan. But fan air is better than no air. So I could have just left you cats with no air. My thoughts on Vin Scully? No thoughts. I mean, no different than when, then Chick Hearn died. Him and Chick Hearn was basically the same. Chick Hearn worked for the Lakers, 30, 40 years, maybe 50 years. I want to say Chick Hearn worked up. Lakers' first season in LA was 60, 61, or was it 61, 62? I want to say it's 60, 61. And Chick Hearn was with them since then. I want to say Vin Scully started off with the St. Louis, and then he moved with LA, I think. I mean, he was, baseball, sports. He did other sports, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I mean, they're killing off these entertainers. I'm surprised they killed Bill Russell and didn't kill Bill Russell during the sports championship. Very surprised at that. But again, like the sister that died from Star Trek, her best work was Chuck Turner. When you really got to see her range, was Chuck Turner. I think that was Chuck Turner. I'm pretty sure that was Chuck Turner. If you want to see Lieutenant Huru's, Real Black shows that scene. But I watched the movie Truck Turner. I love that when she takes over, she's the pimp, and she bringing them bitches out, and she tells how much they made. She brings them chicks out, and she was saying how much these chicks made. I think my dad took me to see Truck Turner, 72, 73, 74, somewhere, and I was fairly young. That is some of her best work. That shows her, where she kind of played a madam. That was good work by her. I enjoyed her. I'm pretty sure that's Truck Turner she had. The chick that died, that played in The Matrix. She played. Her name was Mamie. like Mammy when she played on The Young and the Restless. She accepted the contract where her name was Mamie. That's Mammy. So that was my first. I thought she did a good job in The Matrix, playing the Oracle. You know, I thought she stuck to the character. I thought she gave, because the original chick that did the Oracle in The Matrix, she died after Matrix 1. That is why that woman played in The Matrix 2. I thought she was perfect in it. In Matrix 2. I really did. I enjoyed her in Matrix 2. So that's my only thing is now, the Dodgers won, a season or so ago when the Dodgers won. Could be a sacrifice for that, but I don't really care. I don't really care. But I mean, part of me growing up, guys like him definitely was one of the voices forever. Keith Jackson, Kurt Gowdy. I watch sports. Wild World of Sports. I watched these announcers when they wasn't so old. Howard Cosell, great book. Jewish faith lawyer, but a great book. His book was really a good book. You want to read Howard Cosell, the book by him when he was at his popularity. So, that's my thought. I watched a lot of announcers. Hell, OJ was on Monday Night Football and the Hammer. As I said before, I think OJ was the first sideline reporter. The gloves. So, Chick Hearn, the best to ever do it. Yeah, Chick was good. Chick was good. That's why I like when Winning Time kind of highlights Chip's relationship to him. I like that. I really like that. That in Winning Time they showed Chick as again, Chick was in radio. I mean, as TV was starting to come through cable, he was able to adapt from being just the radio voice to going in to be the cable TV voice. So that's what a lot of these cats did. I mean, look at the children. The guy that they're doing Monday, they left to do Monday Night Football, right? Or Sunday Night Football. Troy Aikman and that other cat, his dad, was with St. Louis Cardinals for years. The name will come to me, but they just left Fox, right? They just left Fox to do the Sunday night or Monday night. I think they left Fox to do the Sunday night game or wherever Troy Aikman went. Please forgive me. I don't remember. So that's kind of interesting too. They gave Aikman and them money like Tony Romo got. People don't see this is how they don't do, brothers. They talked about what Troy Aikman just got, and then they just happened to mention the Tony Romo what he got. See, they don't tend not to. They can't wait to throw a brother or a current player's money, pocket watching. But when it comes to jobs like them, they don't want you pocket watching. They don't talk about it a whole lot. What they did to get them away from one channel going to the other. I guess the coon done hurt his shoulder or something. Stephen A. Smith is off the air, supposedly hurt. I never watch shit he's on anymore. I don't even watch the Talking Heads anymore. I watch the money all day. I don't need the Talking Heads. And I pick up what little bit I can, but for the most part, I watch money. There's more informative information than just to watch niggas, or just a lot of times it's niggas that ain't even gonna look in the camera. Fox dudes can't even look in the camera. No way I would accept that. Well, it looks more like it's real when they're talking to each other. No, it doesn't. TV 101, you look in the camera. Nick Taylor gave that advice. You got to get used to looking in the camera. Now, a lot of times, I'm sorry, I know I'll go off. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to be putting shit together. So I can't look at y'all and be putting shit together up here trying to see the event or whatever you guys tell me. So I have to look away and I have to put the event together so I can see the event to comment on what you guys bring up. So I do look away. But for the most part, TV, even this, you should be looking. That's all. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stuffed up. I don't know what it is. Notice my other channel, but I don't know why my last video was so bad. But I know it's like anytime you start changing and shit's enhanced, they want to attack it. So, yeah, Keelan just took off on me. Told the story. So it's like Keelan looked out the window and said, "Oh, my ride is here." So I'm thinking it's one of his buddies. Open the door, it's my ex-wife. Like full, this chick's 6'2". But she said she lost a lot of weight. She was 290. She said now she's down to size 14. She said she weighs as much as I do. I weigh 223. I think says she weighed 235. So proud of her. Hope she feels better. But it was just surprised to see her. It's like, want to slam the door on her ass. Get the fuck up out of here. The fuck you coming over here for? But we don't even see each other. I don't even know her. To be honest, I don't know her. She was having blues with her men, so she called me. But I guess her the man doing good, so keep doing good. So you don't have to fucking call me and I gotta hear your bullshit. It's like my daughter's mother. Introduced my daughter to my friend. My daughter's mother quit calling me. I'm like, thank you. I'm not your buddy. I don't want to hear your little fucking stories. Tony Romo is a puppet for NFL. Oh, I agree. He was the first one to really get I think I'll say what made Tony Romo so good is, again, able to look at the offense and defense and be able to say what's next. He's the first one they let do that, to say, hey, this is coming. Because, again, as I said, I predicted in that Super Bowl when the Pats, or when not the Pats, but when Tampa Bay won. And I'm looking at the formation, the set, and I've sit there and said on live, I'm like, he's about to run Gronk underneath. And as I said before, if I can look at that formation and know Gronk's coming underneath, damn if them defenders couldn't see the same thing. But that ain't what's happening. Gronk got an easy touchdown. Because you can look back at it, I think it's on this channel. I said, Gronk's about to come underneath. Sure enough, Gronk comes underneath and gets a touchdown. So I think that's where Romo is good. And as this has become more scripted and more scripted, they don't mind them giving these little tidbits. They don't mind that. They don't seem to mind. They seem to kind of want that. I wonder, and if Lobo's still watching or he catches the repeat, I wonder, like, if you look at Tony Romo and Frank Gifford, they remind me a lot of each other. I get that same kind of vibe from Frank Gifford, because Frank Gifford, if you ever see me wearing the Chuck Benikoski uniform, the 60s Eagles, he like fucked Frank Gifford up. He knocked him out, and then he pointed down to him like, yeah, motherfucker, I'd have knocked your ass out. Look at that picture when he knocked him out. He pointed down to him. Same way with Chuck Tatum knocked off Sammy White's helmet. He like blasted your ass. You could do that back in the day. Blast somebody and they be blasted. And so Frank Gifford, he was out for a year getting hurt, and then he came back and then he retired. But all along he was doing commercials. He was doing early TV, and he was able to turn football into a lifetime experience. And at one point, he was probably the best broadcaster. Monday Night Football was perfect for him. Dandy Don. Anytime you watch Don Meredith, I read the book of North Dallas 40. Great football book. If you really want to get into what football is to read the book North Dallas 40, and then watch the movie after reading the book. The book by my homeboy Pete Gent. I would say it's even a little better. The book is a little better than Any Given Sunday, the movie. But the movie, reading that book, will give you a greater insight into some of the thinking in pro football. Especially of what players had to do in the 1960s when everything was legal. Long as you performed. Everything was legal long as you performed. They didn't care if motherfuckers was doing cocaine in the locker rooms, long as they performed. That's all they cared about. And you can't tell me like baseball. Baseball, let them use steroids, let them use juice balls to bring baseball. They celebrate Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Oh, and my friend and I, we watched Sammy Sosa. I mean, he looked like tan now. Now he's bleached his skin, and they were showing that 30 for 30. That ain't the same cat. That bleaching shit is real and funny. So I want to tell a joke, but I won't. I won't tell the joke that I want to tell. But yes, football season's starting to come in. I might end up going to the Packers game, the first game with the Vikings Packers September 11th. I might. I don't know. Haven't talked to my son, so I got to call him to see what's happening. Because if he just needed a little more money, that game might be worth going to. So I don't know. Might hit that. I still like to see what they do with the Sacred Ball game and what they do with the energy. I like seeing that live, no doubt. No doubt, especially football. Oh, and I'm definitely going to see Devo Eastern. He's going to be one of the defensive ends for the Gophers, so I'm going to watch some Gophers games too. So yeah, once the school year starts, and I feel sorry for y'all that y'all children going to school already. Children up here don't go to school until after what's coming next, Labor Day. Yeah, my daughter don't start till around the 6th. So y'all, I don't know y'all that started already, and I don't get that. We get a whole another month, whole 30 plus days. So don't know. But up here it's cool. Children still free. Little children armies. Children taking off. I was driving my car. I saw some crazy little, short little bicyclers. It was at night and they're just riding crazy through the streets. I'm like, damn, I don't want to hit one of your little asses, so drive your little asses across the street. I was telling my friends, to be a parent, wouldn't it be great to be Mr. Fantastic where you could just stretch yourself? So if the children is doing some bullshit and seeing this modern day, in this modern day, you got, you can have a camera in every room and you can see some children doing bullshit in the room and you can stretch your hair up to go all the way upstairs and, just knock them out while they're doing the shit in the house, You'd be able to look at them in the camera and you can stretch your arm and out of nowhere just slap the shit out of your child or start choking your child. What? Your daughter goes back next week. Your daughter goes back to school in August? You live in Ohio. How do your daughter go back next week? You live in Ohio. It ain't hot. Now I can see some people say, well, it's hot in Texas. We got to get them. I don't get that. Next week, TJ, you need to move to Minnesota. You live in a communist state. Communists sending their children to back. You live house for communists. Thank you, Alchemist. Thank you for joining. Our kids go back Monday. All these communists. Where do you what country do you guys live in? You guys live in some communist shit. They making y'all children go back. It's still summer. Next week is summer. Summer don't end until the 21st. See, my child only goes to school 2 weeks in summer. Summer ends the 21st. Summer, it's still summer. You down in Atlanta. Oh, so my nieces and nephews going back. Y'all run by communists. See? Minnesota ain't so bad. It may get cold up here, but my children don't go back for another month. So another month, we have the children gang. We can go on vacation. I was thinking about traveling this weekend, but I just don't know. Still working on Chicago, seeing Pomo. I really want to bring out Pomo and sit and chop it with him. It'll be worth it. And probably see Benita on set. Probably see her too while I'm there. And Dr. Winters want to face me. You can get this business too, bro. You should have faced me years ago. I was nowhere where I am now. You'd have got me years ago. You'd have got me where I'd have never said shit to you again, bro. But not anymore. Yeah, ain't nothing you can bring up because we know who pay you. That's all I got to say. My research ain't nobody pay me. I do my own research. You get paid, bro. So they got us off. Oh, yeah. Y'all live with communists. Y'all live communists making children go to school during the summer. Okay, let's get this straight. Summer starts June 21st and then September 21st. Children should be off. I agree, 2 weeks of summer because they get out in the spring. Remember, spring. Children get out in the spring. 2 weeks of summer, not a whole month. And y'all don't get out hardly any sooner. Y'all don't get out any sooner. It's about the same. Oh my goodness, this beer is so freaking good. That's why I want to stop drinking beer. I like it too much. I really do. I be in the desert dying and shit. They be trying to give me water. I'm like, no, I need a beer. I need Red X Ale. It's like now, you know. Brothers was talking about with if the government, Craig Faxon, it was talking some stupid shit. If the government was giving people, so if more people admitted to crimes, would the government start giving money out for people to admit crimes? So a dude would go admit a crime and get 100,000, and the other dudes would start saying, "Did it be dudes trying to, do crimes on purpose?" No, what he's saying is, if people already do the crime and you admit it, but if you come through and you say, "Yeah, I did it," whatever, and then you would get money at the end of your sentence. And the other dudes would start saying dudes would do more crime because they know they could sit for 10 years and then get 100. I don't know about that. Public school is horrible. I agree. Feel we should all homeschool. I can't really argue that. Only other than the socialization. That's the only thing, is the socialization is a big part of school too. Chanel, thank you for joining. Try those Spike Simply lemonades. Too much sugar in that stuff for me. Too much sugar in that. My friend, she drinks wine. She likes bourbon, but I'm mostly just a beer dude. Pretty much beer. Now, when we start getting the drinks with the THC in them, I'll probably get those. The THC drinks, when they start making those. And they're coming. And even though good as these are, as I said before, the chick lied. Because the law just passed where it's 0.5% THC. Because I said the new stuff. She gave me this, which is cool. I'm going to go back and get one of them candy bars tomorrow. Because they're a little stronger. So I'm going to get those tomorrow. All I try to give is possibilities. That's all I try to do, is give up possibilities. And where I see flaws in certain things. I mean, I can't. The way I look at things is I can't say those been out, baby. Yep, yeah, they've been out. I'm in Milwaukee, and weed still isn't legal here. Like this stuff is legal. You can get medical like this stuff. You can get medical flower here, so it's coming here. And matter of fact, North Dakota. South Dakota is legal, and South Dakota, some spots, is only 4 hours away. Ain't nobody stopping you from getting that. From where Crazy Sarge is up in Colorado, that's roughly 10 hours away. So now South Dakota, it's just a matter of time. And this stuff, I hit my big bong now, but I mostly take them. Oh, I got family in Milwaukee too. I like Milwaukee. Heavily segregated, but I like Milwaukee. Very segregated. But Milwaukee, I like Milwaukee. I got to see my cousin, my family in Milwaukee. As I say, when I go to Chicago, I'll probably stop in Milwaukee too. So, but there's always the street weed sellers, so we can't discount them. They haven't went away, even though it's legal in some places. They ain't went away because it's cheaper. Oh, Natural Immunity says, I went to UW Milwaukee. Okay, bet. Because it's funny, Milwaukee gives you a little bit of both. As I said before, Chicago, their highways is all snakes. Milwaukee gives you both, because Milwaukee will give you also the snake, but Milwaukee will give you the clover leaves too. Milwaukee has the clover leaf, especially once you get downtown, before you get to the stadium. Like right as soon as you start, you get in Milwaukee, you're coming from the east going west. You see the big clover leaves they made, But yeah, that's not far. Milwaukee's roughly 5 hours from me. No, 7. No, yeah, about 6, 7. So not too far. Okay. Most segregated state in the U.S. I checked. Most segregated state in the U.S. Yeah, it is. It is. I live down the street from there in the River West. Okay. Yeah. I'm in Minneapolis. I stay south of Minneapolis. Hey, OTF, how you doing? What's happening? Yeah. I live in Minneapolis. I live south of Minneapolis. I live in Prior Lake, which is south. I live south. I live like roughly from downtown. I live about roughly 25 miles south. Just depends, different parts. But from Wisconsin, I live like 45 minutes from Wisconsin. Not far at all. I think Saturday I'm gonna go see the mound, do a live from the mound. That's what I think I'm going to do. Do a live at the mound. And then later, I left my knife over there. Shit. I'm stuffed up. Sorry. How's it segregated? Go there and you'll see. It is very segregated. Remember, they had them riots there where that dude shot them people. That's Milwaukee. No, that was more of where it started was Milwaukee, but they went over to the Wisconsin side, I believe. So yeah, look it up. Look up Milwaukee. Yeah, if you come to Milwaukee, you'll definitely see. As I said, it's a lot of not pretty people live in Wisconsin. I'm saying 100%, but I used to see a lot of ugly parents and a lot of ugly children in Wisconsin. Whole team of ugly parents and ugly children. I'm just joking. But yeah, if you go to Milwaukee, you'll see very quickly. Like here in our hoods here, we are so outnumbered. When you go in the hood here, which they call over north, isn't that some funny shit? They don't call it the north side. It's like, oh, where you live? Oh, I live over north. Like motherfuckers don't even be from here, but they start speaking the way they speak here. Like my son's mother lives over north. She can't stay away from him. For her, it's all about the darkest. I'd ask her, I was going to, give her my son and her man and give away some of my sweaters because it's just my hoodies because it's just too many. And she was like, well, what colors you got? He just likes solid shit. I'm like, look, Lane. I'm like, this lame was wearing one of my old winter coats last time I saw him. So, honey, he don't look very picky. If he would wear that old winter coat that I gave to her other man, that motherfucker will wear anything. He was like, he got the third hand-me-down. And when you see the motherfucker wearing your shit from like 10 years ago, and you want to laugh because like, God damn, I didn't give that to you. I gave that to her other band. How you get it? He was in the closet like, hey, yeah, he didn't take it with him. You can have it. Oh, shit, yeah, it fits. And I got the coat from Burlington Coat Factory. Are any of your baby mamas European? Yeah, they are. I ain't nowhere near where I can only imagine. What I always feel like that when I go to another state too, people start getting ugly. Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, yeah, let me see. So my first wife was melanated, American Indian. My second wife was Potawatomi and European. My daughters, well, my oldest daughter that's 30 something, her mother's melanated. So my second wife had 3 children. My 16-year-old daughter's mother's European, and my youngest daughter's mother's daughter's European. So my second wife is Potawatomi and Polish. Somebody's a bum. Did any of y'all notice that the George Floyd character had hair when they first detained him, but he jumped, but had a bald fade when he was on the ground, claiming he couldn't breathe. You can't talk if you can't breathe. You can't talk. You can't talk if you can't breathe. Alchemist, you lived 1,000 lives and like 300 wives. Something like that. I noticed that too many other things wrong with that scene. Well, the thing about George Floyd that tickled me is when they showed George Floyd, when they showed him arresting him the year before, and they kept going on my mama, man, on my mama, man, you know, that dope head assurance that I'll do what I say. On my mama, man, on my mom. I think it was a psyop. It definitely was a psyop. As I said here, we're a test state. They didn't think they wanted something to happen here. Like I said, they killed Young, they killed Castile, and then they killed Floyd. And I've said again, I don't have the proof on this channel, but on other channel, I said we're in some type of test state. We're in some type of test state. Again, when Castile got killed, it was on Facebook Live, if y'all remember. It was when Facebook Live was fairly young too. So one of the early things that went nationally on Facebook Live was Castile getting shot. And then a guy giving an excuse that I shot him because he's going to get his permit or some shit. It's just not believable. How they was throwing his damn tiny ass casket in the air was hilarious. It definitely was. Paid crisis actor all day. He's somewhere living off that GoFundMe money. Yeah. Well, his family ain't hurting. His family definitely hurt. Did y'all hear they finally settled Prince? And I think Super Slide showed how half of the family settled and sold they half. And then the rest of Avernetta was happening. And then the rest of his family didn't take that deal. The rest of the family got kicked down their money. And they said they're about to bring music back. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Prince. Because the family that sold the music rights does not have any rights from the property here. And it's a tourist attraction. It's definitely a tourist attraction. It's kind of neat what he built, to show that what a guy's able to achieve building, that's just all about music. It reminds me a lot of Jimi Hendrix building Electric Ladyland. Really, had the money, built his own studio, built his own stage to do concerts, So, and I am one of the weirdos that stood out too long to just go to a free concert. It's funny. I got my friend the other night. What state am I in? I'm in Minnesota, baby. I'm in Minnesota. Is Prince really dead, or is he just the scene like Kobe or I kind of thought that Taika, the character that came out as his sister, as I said before, his sister was a crackhead. his sister was kind of selling that monkey around Minneapolis. And not to say people was like, oh, you related to Prince, so I want the monkey. Nah, it wasn't like that. But she could sing, and she went on a world tour right after he died. And if you hear her sing, Tyka sing, you hear him sing, you think it's the same person. So I don't know. I think they killed Tyka and put Tyka in there, and he's able to be the sister now. That's what I think. All right, Crazy Sarge, man. Send me let me know if you got any of them coins left. I was telling my girl about them coins. So let me know if you got any of them coins left. Hit me up. Give me a call or send me an email or text me, whatever. Let me know. Hey, Nico, what's happening? How did the artist make money for a free concert? Nah, you set like, what they did is you set outside the fence. So you set outside the fence, and then they let people in, and you set outside where the concert was going to be. Yeah, you didn't pay, not that kind of thing. He did, wasn't just the one I stood outside, let my son talk me into doing that stupid shit. Wasn't even his mom, it's my son. Like, he's all hyped to see that shit. It was cool though. I mean, I'd seen him, like I said, I saw Prince first in 82 or 83. I saw two concerts. I saw him in Greensboro, North Carolina. Best individual musician I've ever saw. Best showman, everything, but musician by far. Yeah, motherfucker can get down playing. He can play. But I would have destroyed him. Like Charlie Murphy, you know, they couldn't hoop. Charlie Murphy and Eddie said they got beat by Prince. Yeah, that wouldn't happen to me. You know, they dug the fake Ramsey up again with new DNA evidence. Well, they doing some necromancy for some reason. Alex Jones retracted saying that the Sandy Hook, well, he had to. He was under pressure. They had to. His drummer was amazing. Yeah, I don't, that Ramsey story is just too crazy to believe. But again, I don't want to hear about that. I still have a bunch, but they in storage. Oh, okay. Don't believe in anything. Listen to the story. It says, what does that mean to me? I read, they dug her up. That shit don't mean nothing to me. I don't really care. So that's how I look at it. What does it mean to me? It don't mean shit to me. So I don't believe in nothing. You know, I only go through what I experience. Well, how'd he go? She gives me love, crazy love. You know, pimp talk. You know, when she tell you that your sheets smell like you, or like your cologne. That's pimp talk. She miss you because your sheets smell like you. That's how that pimp comes in. That's still a good feeling to hear. Alex True spitting. I think he's caught in the middle. I think people paid him to say something for so long. And then the powers that play, as Jody says, the powers that play wanted people to really think that thing there, even though we know the school got tore down. I mean, it's just, I knew, and I've said this before, I got to remember, I knew somebody lived in that town. And I had a direct hook, and they were telling me, like, yeah, that address is crazy. Anybody watch my old show? I had a person, I wasn't live, but they was sitting there like, I lived there, and they was sitting there commenting on the person that lived there. So they're telling what they was doing there, you know. So it's like this just doesn't. It appears like it's an agenda of a certain party to take the guns. And I've said the reason that they want to take the guns because they want to let these other troops come in here and not be contested. That's what it's all about. They want foreign troops. More than likely, they're going to use the Chinese once everybody is allowed to give up rifles. We are the most heavily armed country in the world as far as capacity people. Everybody has guns, and that's what they don't want. They want to make us to lay down our guns so they can bring in these other troops because they know U.S. troops will not kill U.S. citizens. So they're going to be forced to do the man in the high castle and bring them nasty fuckers in from China. But again, given a fair chance, those people are not historically great fighters. So I'm not scared of Chinese. Because you give me these imbecile psychopaths that they grow down in Alabama, they grow down in Kansas, and you let me go out and general them, they will not lose to these Chinese. So let them keep their ARs, their AKs. Let us keep them. So you bring these little nasty Chinese people over here and we will kill them. First time I've seen them at Michigan State was the Prince. Oh, yeah. I've said this before. When I was a freshman, I saw Prince open up for Rick James. And I was really impressed by Prince the first time I, because I want to say it was my senior year. I had a girlfriend. She had moved to Atlanta from Michigan. And, we were still cool. I was joyful for her. I wish I could find her again just to say hello, see how her life turned out. But she called me. She's like, man, there's a song down here called Soft and Wet that they play by this cat named Prince. So that was my first time hearing it. And then months later, in September of '79, I saw Prince live, opened up for Rick James at Greensboro. I thought Prince did a hell of a job. Yeah, I forgot all about Prince when I saw Rick James. And that was before Rick James had that new shit. Or he might have just came out. I was born to funk. No, that was the year before. That was the year before. When I saw him, he was still singing Mary Jane and You and I when I saw him. It's going to take our military brass to turn up these demons in order for us to take the country over from them. Interesting. Prince or Michael Jackson? Mike. I mean, Mike overall was a better overall entertainer, but Prince was a musician, so you really can't compare. Michael Jackson was a performer. Prince was a musician. As I said before, if you really want Michael Jackson at his best, the Break of Dawn album with Butterflies, that's Michael at his best. I don't think any work is better as an individual. Break of Dawn is one of my all-time favorite songs, but Butterflies is great too. But Break of Dawn, I mean, Michael Jackson is his best. So just depends. They're different. They're different. So can't really, even though they're the same age, you really can't. They're different. They were different. Like for me, as I said before, my aunt's husband knew, well, my aunt and her husband knew Joe. Her husband was a cop in Chicago, so they knew them. And so I was exposed to that music early. That first album early. Matter of fact, I've said this before. The album she had Big Boy on it. Big Boy wasn't in on. If you find the first Jackson 5 album now, it does not have Big Boy. And Big Boy was their first release. I'm a big boy now, and you're a big boy now. That was their first release. And that was on their album. If you find the Jackson 5 now, I do not think Big Boy is. I know, okay, I'll say this. Later, Jackson 5 original albums, they cut Big Boy off. She had one that it wasn't a promotional album, but I want to say they got it from Joe. Bobby DeVarge, or Leon Silvers, Bobby DeVarge. Yeah. Wasn't he the one in Switch? But Silvers was a great musician, too. I mean, do you know one of the Silver sisters got kidnapped and gang raped? And you think these people had it so far? No wonder she ends up dying young. Tammy Terrell, the same thing happened to her. When Tammy Terrell's like 13 or 14, she was just walking home. Some dudes just gang raped her in the field. I mean, what makes people be so savage? Silver's catalog, they have classics. Musician-wise, too. Remember, musician-wise, they was playing a lot of their own music, too. I think Leon was a musician, too. Larry Graham was with Sly and the Family Stone. Larry Graham was the one that was starting to do like that. Got everybody hitting that bass like that. And I must say, I hated that Larry Graham "One in a Million." I hated that song, and I had a poster with that shit on it just because somebody gave me the poster. But I like the funky Larry Graham. Do re mi no na 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 na. Listen to the bands of gypsies where Jimi Hendrix plays that Sly in the Family Stone. You'll hear the end of the set where Jimmy's playing a little bit. Jimi Hendrix with the, you know that part where they do that. Yeah, they go na 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 na, and you can see the band of gypsies where Jimmy hit that. You can get where Jimmy played the Sunshine in Your Love. Jimmy played Sergeant Pepper and the Lonely Heart. He was the first one to play Sergeant Pepper and the Lonely Heart Comes Band. Hearing it one time. He heard it, he went out and they practiced, and he played it before the Beatles played it. From just listening to it. The DeBarge father was pure evil. Wow. They just got Scully out of there. Looks like it's Dodgers versus Yanks. I would agree with that. I think so too. So much great music in that area before I was born, but I enjoyed the music much more. And Graham Central Station, Graham are Drake's dad. Grahams are Drake's dad and uncle. Oh, I didn't know that. Grahams are Drake's dad and uncle. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Yeah, Larry Graham of Graham Central Station. Yeah. Yeah, DeBarges is from Grand Rapids. As I said before, when the DeBarges went to prison, for having over 20 grams, somebody dropped a dime on them. They was coming back from L.A. and again, at one point, you could take keys in your suitcase and nobody would tell, but somebody told on them. It was a thing where they were set up. But they tried to bring some couple keys back from L.A. because again, when the keys in L.A. in Michigan, they was 36. In L.A., he was probably able to get them for 18, 19. So they had probably done it before and got away. But I said when my guy Frank was in prison, he was in prison with them. And as I said before, Frank got out because they withheld evidence that showed Frank never touched the money. They didn't have his fingerprints. They want to say Frank got all this money, but when they went through the money, Frank's fingerprints wasn't on them. And they also found out that they withheld that evidence during Frank's trial. So Frank ended up getting out. But he was in jail with the DeBarges before they got out. Because Frank got stopped in the car with some yay and some money. So, and they didn't find his fingerprints on either thing, on the yay or the money. Matter of fact, Frank is in a Burger King commercial from the Godzilla. If y'all remember when Burger King did Godzilla commercial, Frank is in a motherfucking Godzilla commercial. So who goes from being in prison for a cocaine charge and then a couple years later you're in a Burger King commercial? Frank acted in a couple of different things too. Frank was an actor. Him and his brothers both acted. I told you before, when Battle Creek had that little show, my boy Ronnie did a couple scenes. I think the Celtics will win because of Bill Russell. No, that does not appear to be a Bill Russell sacrifice. I don't think so. It's too early. Too early for that. I'm surprised Bill Russell died. I said before, I thought Bill Russell would die during some type of championship. But that just shows you now, I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Brown is next. Didn't Prince used to do collabs with Graham Central Station too? He might have. He played with a little bit of everybody. I never saw him live. But I said before, the second musician to Prince was that dude with the system. That dude is rough. I've said before. It's Prince, and then that dude from the system is the best dudes I ever saw. That dude with the system. That shit was blowing my mind. Day by day and night by night, because you get in my system. And you hearing these drums work out, and there ain't no drummer. You're hearing all these noises, and ain't none of them people up there but a guitar is the bass, 2 rhythm guitars. That's it. And a dude sitting there on that motherfucking keyboard, piano, or whatever synthesizer. That motherfucker with the system was the shit. Was the shit live. He was that shit. He was into that shit. Oh yeah, print them. Kareem will be soon, not long after LeBron breaks his. Man, did y'all hear about LeBron's younger son? Did y'all hear about that? LeBron's younger son is 6'6". So Bronny, they doing Bronny like Michael Jordan. You know, the older son wasn't that good. It was Jeffrey that was better. But they say Bronny's 6'6". No, the other son. LeBron's youngest son is in 9th grade and he's 6'6". So you tell me who they pushing. Tell me who they pushing. So Kareem will be soon, not long after LeBron breaking his scoring record. He already broke the what is it? The field goals. Already got more field goals. Y'all think he's next? Bronny ain't got it. He's gonna get a chance though. They're gonna put Bronny in the league, but the younger boy is 6'6". So, but Bronny's 6'3", so Bronny gonna get in the league. Hell, they let what is his name? Anthony. And they let Anthony in the league. He only that size. He went to Carolina, so Bronny gonna go to Duke. Bronny gonna go to Duke, and then Bronny gonna be in the league. Bryce grew from 5'6" to 6'6" in a year. That's what my boy did. My boy, I used to tease him. My boy stayed 5'8" forever. My boy stayed 5'8" forever. I used to always call him the runt. I'm like, you the runt. He stayed 5'8" forever. I used to always tell him. Now he taller than both his brothers. One of his brothers, my 27-year-old son is about 6'5". My other son is 6'6", and he closer to 6'7". Probably damn near 6'7.5" now. So yeah, Bryce is taller. He's 6'6" now. So yeah, but you see, they want to push LeBron Jr., which he gonna get a chance too. A lot of these other sons that ain't that good getting a chance, so he'll get his chance. He'll get his chance too. But yeah, we got football. Everybody's in camp. Everybody mad. Watson got 6. Man, let me say about Watson. It looked like Watson wasn't going to get nothing. Yeah, Cole Anthony. Yep, Cole Anthony. It looked like Watson wasn't going to get nothing. The original thing, it looked like Watson wasn't going to get in any suspension at all. They put the 6 weeks in. So he had to pay a little money. That's what it takes. That's how they did Hank Aaron. He died in the beginning of the year before the season started and Braves won. That's a good point. You could have something there. I just say, looking at everything else, I don't know. I don't know if I equate Bill Russell's death with the Celtics winning now. I think they did it now to show that they're not going to get it. That's what I'm guessing. To show you that the Celtics won't benefit from his death. I think that's what he died now. That's the early feelings I'm getting. I could see differently. Watson shouldn't have gotten anything. He's only guilty of being a perv. That's right. He shouldn't have got anything. I would agree with that. 6 weeks for what? I don't understand that. They're punishing him for. Exactly. And it wasn't a civil case. Exactly. He shouldn't have got nothing. Yep. He shouldn't have got nothing. But that shows you how nothing this was about. This was about the people in Dallas didn't like he got more money. Yep. Didn't like that he got more money. That's what this was a money thing of him being pushed out. They brought that up. You see, they dropped the criminal charges, and they really didn't want to give him anything. They really did not want to give him anything. So 16 out of 18, what is it? Yeah, 18 weeks now. That ain't nothing. He ain't losing money. A lot of his money guaranteed. Remember, he got it guaranteed. Y'all know what guaranteed mean. Guaranteed mean the money go in the bank. Money goes in the bank. That's what guaranteed money means. Now, you ain't getting it all at once, but it's in the bank. That's what guaranteed means. Now, the ABA cheated with that. The ABA said deferred payments And of course, we know the old story about Bobby Manila, the greatest deferred payment person, other than the owners of the Kentucky Colonels and the St. Louis Spirits of St. Louis. They got the best billion-dollar lick ever. They got the best billion-dollar lick ever. All his money is guaranteed. There you go. And guaranteed money means it's there. See? And for a long time, that was the difference between football and the other sports. When they say so much guaranteed, that means it's in there. Don't mean that the owner is like, well, I don't want to. No. When the owner says guaranteed, the owner has to put it in account. It's there. That's what it means, guaranteed. So, that's what it means. They got to put it there in ahead. And while it's there, that person gets the interest. Did you hear what I said? When it's in that account, it draws interest too. So, and the player gets the interest, not the owner. Oh. But you know, guys, everything is changing. Seems like everything's fast. It's not. But love is a splendid thing. It really is. So maybe I cut myself off. Do you know how you can stay in Christ? I want to say this. This is how you stay in Christ consciousness. And I'm going to just give you an easy example today, what I experienced, where I held myself in Christ consciousness. I was behind a woman, wasn't really paying much attention to her. She's probably older than me, around my age, maybe older. But you know, I look way more sophisticated, more younger. Is that a word? More younger? But anyway, that's just talking shit. But when I was leaving, I noticed her husband pulled up. She was going around the back to drop her stuff off. And I said, there goes the gentleman. Pulls up to pick up his lady. He gave me the thumbs up, and his wife's like, yes, he's definitely a gentleman. That is how you hold Christ consciousness. Now, when they talk about being in love with the moment and in love with everything and everyone you encounter, it doesn't mean you're going to be stupid and just sit down and give you money. No, it means that you stay in that level of high consciousness. And when you're talking to someone, it's almost like Christ is talking to someone. That is the influence that you should have. That's the influence that you should want to have. That's what Christ consciousness is. It's being able to talk to people in a loving way. And where you said made them feel better. Now, I'm not saying you're there to sprinkle sparkles on them and, you know, fairy dust. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you can move through your day in Christ consciousness, and everyone you speak to, you have that vibration of Christ coming through you. That ain't hard. Everything you say it in a loving way. I tell everybody, I am a closed person. Y'all know that. I love when, like, people with shoes, I love looking at shoes. And what do people, when they walk around, what's comfortable for them? See, we now are in a society where we're scared of our neighbors. I mean, I wear jewelry. I wear a lot of jewelry all the time. It makes me looking around. Do I need to shoot him or stab him? What do I need to do? It's that fear program. It's like the guy had a big chain and they showed two niggas just take his chain. Like he had nothing he could do. Remember Ip Man? When them people came in the factory and the people did like this? I've always got that. And you should too. I know that's a weird segue from love to that. But I'm just saying. Somebody invades you, make them pay. And that confidence does help, but not living in fear. Vin Scully died. Yeah, we was talking about that. Vin Scully. Shit. It's I mean, it's funny, you know, you watch sports, you see all these announcers. You know, I'm an old Raiders fan, so, you know, watching uh what is it? John Madden. You know, I knew John Madden from being a coach of my favorite team for since I was a boy. And of course, when he went into broadcasting, you know, and then he never flew. You know, he never flew. He drove a bus. He was allowed to drive a bus from across country because, again, he was doing Monday night games or whatever games he was doing. He was taking a bus, you know, leave one game and they taking a bus across country. Never wanted to fly. And he was able to do his job without flying. Because as we saw during that thing, it was people that drove from California, drove all the way to New York in 23 hours. World record. John Madden was great. Yeah, he really was. I don't know. I've seen so many guys. As I said, OJ was on Monday Night Football. OJ couldn't talk. That was OJ's thing. He could act and stuff. They say OJ was called one take. He really loved the game. He did. He did. They called OJ one take. Did y'all know that about OJ? Oh, they called OJ one take. It just taking one time to do his line. He was so good. But yeah, John Madden was a good historical person that now his legacy is the game. Isn't that funny? His legacy is the game. And he got his energy from that, and they turned it into something that he probably could have never dreamed it turned into. Like if he looked at the video games, you know, as his last year in his life, as he looked at that, he had to be kind of blown away. Was something that you know, he was able to sign through that came one of the biggest things of, you know, far as sports video games. There's really no comparison. So you have to look at that as quite an achievement. And sometimes, you know, you sign for things and you never know how it's going to blow up, and that's what Madden was able to do. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So, but the same way as entertainers, actors, entertainers, you know, you live 60 years and you see a lot of it come and going. Just as I've watched generations of my family disappear, I've watched the same way as actors and actors. It's like you can watch, like it's some dudes that do impressions of people. And it's like if you watch this impressionist, you would even know the people he's doing impressions of. You really would. And nobody really does impressions anymore. It's dudes back in years past that they made a living because they could talk like other people. They don't really exist anymore. A couple dudes do it, but it don't really exist anymore. I think Jay Farrell was the last that really kind of could do something like that. But that don't even exist. It was European dudes that's all they could do is do impressions of actors of their times. And it was able to do a whole career going to some of these expensive clubs, and that's all they're doing. They're comedians, but their comedy is imitating these other actors of their times. That don't really exist anymore. You know, that don't exist anymore at all. And I don't know what killed that, but there's really that's not really comedy anymore. And Jay Farrell, as I said, he was the last dude that really could do something like that. Hmm. Oh, I graduated from Everett High School, never met Magic. Did you? He's probably older than you, though. You never met him. You never met him. Were you older? What year did you graduate? I mean, I'm not trying to tell your age, but what year did you graduate? You didn't meet no Evelyn? You didn't know Evelyn either? Because Evelyn is my age. Magic is 2 years older than me, but Evelyn is my age. I knew Evelyn. Again, my friend lived down the street from him, and that's really kind of how. Well, I met Magic in 8th grade, but through Johnny, what that house they tried to show, yeah, sort of, kind of, but not really like the house they lived in Lansing. But I knew Evelyn better because she was my age. Johnny was a year younger than us. Oh yeah, Magic was gone. Evelyn was gone by '83. Evelyn my age. So yeah, of course. You was a little girl when Magic was going through effort. You know, Magic graduated in '77. So you was a little girl. You my brother's age. Yeah, you my brother's age. So yeah, you was like, shit, when Magic went through there, you would have been like fourth, fifth grade. You'd still been young. I think when I was a senior, my brother was in seventh grade. So, you know, I left when he was in eighth, going in eighth. So yeah, you wouldn't even know that. Now you talking about AIDS, man. His mom, you saw his mom at the spa. Yeah, they still stayed there. Yeah, they still stayed there. Evelyn went to South Carolina. And what's funny is A&T played South Carolina. She played a couple times. I could see Evelyn twice. She played in UNC Greensboro. They played them, and then they played A&T. So I got to see Evelyn hoop a couple times. She came. I saw Evelyn hoop about 4 times because I saw her play Carolina. Didn't get to see her play Duke. She played Duke one time. She contacted me, said that she's playing down there. I didn't see that game. But I saw Evelyn play a few times. She played at South Carolina. Evelyn was actually pretty good. Evelyn would have Cheryl Miller and them. They're a little younger than me. And they're younger than Evelyn. So Evelyn was too young for the WNBA. But she could hoop. She could hoop. Shit, Magic had big brothers. I mean, Lansing Hoopers. Yeah. AIDS, man. He ain't never had AIDS. They did that stuff so he could sell condoms. That's what Magic's aim was, to sell condoms. More than anything, that's what AIDS was about. They thought they could get rid of. They thought they could get. I mean, it really attacked. It did attack gay people, no doubt. It attacked that, but it also attacked heroin addicts. I think, you know, in Ronald Reagan's crazed mind, that's what he wanted. Matter of fact, look at this movie. Look up this. The first movie about the Kennedy assassination was called Executive Action by the cat named Mark Lane. So watch Executive Action. Executive Action was made in 71 or 72. What year did AIDS come? 78, 79, 80? Well, they embarrassed Adam Magic in what, 80? Man, what year they embarrassed Magic in? 84, 85, 86, 87? Somewhere in there? 88, 89. Matter of fact, it was in the 90s when they embarrassed Magic. Executive Action talks about AIDS in 1972. Burt Lancaster is in Executive Action. He says, we got a disease that will just affect the brown people. That's what he says. He's talking about AIDS. He's talking about AIDS in 1972. So Mark Lane's trying to give you a little bit. Executive Action, when you see what's his name movie, it's JFK, it's a lot taken from Executive Action. A lie we knew. Yeah. Yep. It was a lie. He ain't had that stuff. But he still had to give up his son. That his son, as I said, I don't even know what hit me into his son, as I said before. As I said before, I saw reality and I didn't even look for this reality. I don't know how I tapped into it, but I tapped into reality where his son wasn't gay and was a great hooper. You want to see that? Yeah, look up, you can see it on YouTube. I think YouTube show it. Mark Lane, but the movie's called Executive Action. That's the first JFK movie. And it's kind of deep, too. It's kind of interesting, the way they put it together. Because, you know, they was about to, he was supposed to go to Miami the week before. And they got a dude named Ballatier, where they tape him and they tell you what they later prove, what they later try to tell you is the real story. He says, on the FBI tapes, the guy says, well, you know, you don't have to take the gun up to the room. You break the gun down and put it in a suitcase, you know, a bag. And then when you get up there, you put it back together. They got a dude on the FBI saying that. The FBI, that's why he didn't go to Miami. You know, you go up in high, and Executive Action kind of shows that. But the book, Mark Lane wrote a couple of books. He wrote the first book about JFK too, which is actually pretty good. When they break down, I mean, again, you look at that TV stuff, it ain't nothing but 60s TV. I think the whole thing is fake anyway. So, true. Back in the day, dudes didn't want to play against him because they didn't want to risk. Now, the only thing, this is what happened. This is what happened. Magic plays an All-Star game, gets MVP, which is scripted. All his shots, basket manipulated. You want to see some basket manipulated shots? Watch Magic play in that All-Star game. Magic had a set shot. He wasn't any better than Zion's set shot. And all of a sudden, he's hitting deep threes. Come on. That was all TV. But what happened was, oh yeah, okay. So Magic plays on the Dream Team. When Magic signed 2 contracts. The first contract was 25 years for $1 million, which he was jipping himself. It was worse contract than Pippen signed. And then they came back with the second contract where he was the highest paid. Karl Malone and Mark Price. Now Karl Malone went with the Dream Team all summer with Magic. All summer he didn't play with Magic. And then Magic get that big contract. All of a sudden, Karl Malone say he doesn't know if he'll get it or not. Now, wait a minute. You just played you played an All-Star game against him, and you've been practicing with him for the Dream Team. So, and Mark Price, too. That's why Mark Price didn't really, was after it. They wanted to kill JFK in Chicago earlier in 63. Yeah, damn, I didn't know they had him doing all that. So yeah, that's why only people that said they didn't want to play against him. Everybody else didn't care. It was Karl Malone after playing with him all summer, and Mark Price too. That's why kind of in a way Jordan didn't really like Mark Price either. Because if you remember the All-Star game, Jordan went one-on-one. Isaiah first went one-on-one with Magic, and then Jordan went one-on-one. So they showing you right there, they accepted him. They wasn't scared. They wasn't scared to play against him. That's what they was kind of trying to show you. We're not scared of him. So, yeah, Karl Malone really thought with Magic gone, despite what Michael did, Karl Malone really thought he was the next. He thought with Magic out the way, it'd be him. Even with Michael's achievement, Karl Malone really thought with Magic was gone. And another time, Karl Malone thought when Michael Jordan retired the first time, he would be the guy. And he was never the guy. Again, you take Karl Malone away from Mark or the guy from Gonzaga. You take Karl Malone away from Stockton. You take Stockton away from Karl Malone. They didn't get the same thing. So they were the perfect storm, the perfect script. So Magic and Arsenio had big parties in Michigan State. I know I said last night, EJ the DJ. Magic used to be on Michigan State radio. It's called EJ the DJ. But Vanetta, if you remember, and maybe you were still too young, but Magic used to DJ at Bonnie and Clyde's. Do you remember? Are you old enough to remember where the club Bonnie and Clyde's was in Lansing? Some nights you would go in there and Magic would be up in there spinning. So yeah, Bonnie and Clyde's in Lansing. That was one of the nicer clubs in Lansing. I forgot about that shit. But Vanetta, you remember that? Bonnie and Clyde's? My uncle that used to play for the Twins knew Magic. He said Magic used to go to them Hollywood parties. Well, they admitted in winter time, if you go back and listen to his press conferences, Magic said his wife and the baby didn't have it, even though they wasn't 24 hours before supposedly found out. That's a good point. She should have had it in the baby. Yep. Isaiah coached MJ in his last All-Star game. I'm starting to think that beast was scripted. I wonder, because what they tell you is this. They said that Michael Jordan, this is what they was mad at. This is what Isaiah, Magic, Gervin was mad at. When Michael Jordan came out warmed up, he was wearing Nike fresh shit. And all them niggas was with Converse. Now, Gervin might have been the only one with Nike, but Magic, Isaiah was with, and I think Gervin might have been, because Gervin was the only one of them was smart enough to go with Nike. They was mad because Jordan had on the fresh Nike gear. He had the fresh Air Jordan Nike gear. None of them niggas had that kind of shit. So they was jealousy. It was jealousy. That's all it was. It was jealousy. And some people remember George Gervin got traded to the Bulls. And they say Michael Jordan gave him hell when he got traded to the Bulls because he blamed Jordan. He blamed Gervin because Gervin, is part of Magic's crew. But people forget, I want to say Tucker was Gervin's agent as well. As I told the other day, Gervin was a good guy. I like George Gervin. He used to have that. Oh my goodness, when he would have weed, oh my goodness, he always had that good fucking Acapulco type of weed. Yeah, he used to have great weed. Good guy to hang out with. The weird orgy parties out here. I went to some orgy parties in North Carolina. Oof. I didn't know what I was getting into. It's like, God damn. But I did participate. I did participate. Wasn't really into coke back then, but it was all that shit. It was a little bit for everybody. You walk in and they tell you to change into linen, you're like, oh, this is a fun pajama party. Start going to them rooms. Regular sex for 3 girls, please. That kind of deal, So, debauchery. Definitely debauchery. They'd ask you, young man, do you know what to do with 3 women? Well, I don't know right now, but I'm sure I'll get the handle of it. It's like my friend the other day. She's like, do you like binge watching TV? And she didn't catch me. And I was like, only when I do cocaine. And I did something. She heard me, but she didn't hear me. She was like, what did you say? And I wouldn't tell her for a minute. She'd get mad. Like, what did you say? You said something out the way. What did you say? I'm sitting there laughing because, I talk shit. But she's like, do you like binge watching shows? I'm like, only when I do cocaine. And she's like, okay, but what did you say? I like having fun. I am scared at this age to do cocaine. I don't want to drink too many cups of coffee because that, you get that fucking gas in your chest. That shit. Sometimes you can get gas in your chest and that shit. But as I say, anybody. You think something's ailing you? The best thing to do, go with it. Say, hey, this shit living here ain't the greatest. And if it's time for me to go, take me. I'm not going to fight you. Those pains seem to go away. They seem to go away because this thing needs us. They need our energy. Now, my friend said something very interesting. I'm going to put this out there. She thinks these witches need my energy. Because the Love and Above witch ain't kicked me off, ain't banned me from her. She keeps her eye on me. And you chicks like to be called bitches and hoes. You witches like that shit. I already know you like that shit. You 2 hoes is spicy, though. I'll say that. And thank you where you've helped. I'll give you that. This library shit's got to come from y'all. Witches, only witches would do that shit. But I appreciate it. So, I appreciate you too, Magic and Jermaine Stewart. You don't have to. Yeah, she knew. See, I told you, Bonnie and Clyde's. I knew she'd know what Bonnie and Clyde's. Yeah, I should go down there. We should go to the club down there. Magic be spending some nights. Magic even would spend after he started playing with the Lakers. So we'd go down there like when I would come back from college, like 80, and we'd go down to Bonnie and Clyde's. And it wouldn't be if it'd be off season, after June, you'd see Magic up in there and Bonnie and Clyde spinning. That's the only club I remember in Lansing. Wasn't a whole bunch that I did in Lansing, but I do. My brother lives in Lansing now. That's where he lives. He lives in Lansing. And Lansing is a long way from Kalamazoo. Not as long from Battle Creek, but still a nice little drive. Well, from Kalamazoo, oh my goodness, that's a drive. Thought about going down to Michigan this weekend for the AMPI, 180th reunion, some shit like that. It's like the AMPI 180th reunion we've had in Michigan, something like that. I don't think I'm going. My daughter has a lot to do next week. I have to work Monday, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm going this year. All my cousins from DC are coming though, so maybe I might still get up out of here Friday night, do a trip. But what does Joe say? I'm in love, round and round I go, out of control. I'm in love. Love just is. Love is supreme. You know, it's like when you're in love, it's like you think you've known the person your whole life. That's what love is. Mm. Oh shit, yeah. Fucking fuck some coke. I wouldn't do that shit. I would see what did Richard Pryor say when his grandmother caught him doing coke and he started pouring the shit in the toilet to get rid of it, and his grandmother's like, "You dumb motherfucker! Why didn't you sell it back to the person that you bought it from?" That's all I could look at it as something to sell. I could not look at it like I got these rocks and I'm gonna do some lines. That is the stupidest shit at my age in the world. Like Ike Turner, you know, somebody gave Ike Turner a crack pipe to kill him. No doubt. This nigga's in a hospital bed in his house, and the motherfuckers died smoking crack. And you tell me he didn't have to have some help. You're in a hospital bed, you can't go get the crack. I hear Mobley and Steve Francis. Never heard that. Sorry, weird dude. Can't do that over here. If I was on YouTube, you could, but not over here, buddy. Not over here. We're not playing that over here. Weirdo hour. Some free publicity. Pay me. You want to come troll like that? Pay me and see, you know. Don't just come take it that you're gonna put your weirdo stuff up there. Says best adult dating site. I think a lot of them people say that, you know. So somebody there said, "Hey, we need to get in there. He's got a lot of people watching, so we need to put this out here." Come on, you guys got to be joking. You got to be joking. You can't think that you're going to get any traction from this little channel. From this little channel. I saw it earlier. Some of you YouTubers, I don't think you guys are real. I see you guys doing all this goddamn talking and you never use chapstick. Am I the only motherfucker that my lips get goddamn dry when I talk? I watch you other people talk a long time and you guys never use chapstick. Makes me wonder, are you guys lizard people? So, you watch people talk for a long time and they don't use chapstick, I think they're lizard people. Now, I could be wrong there, but I don't think I am. If you do a lot of goddamn talking and you don't use chapstick, how do your lips not get dry? My shit get dry as hell. So, watch some of you guys, you never use chapstick, you're sus. You're very sus. We're gonna do. I thought I was gonna be able to do another equipment check. So, yeah, we got some of the equipment that you guys know. Magic didn't do regular orgies; he did the Hollywood orgies. Mobley's supposed to be some kind of relative of mine. Oh, is he? I always wondered, was he related to them Mobleys? As I said before with the Emmett Till stuff. If you look at that picture of who's holding her mother when he supposedly came to Chicago, that is Mr. Mobley behind her. And I said before, Mr. Mobley, if you've read Mamie's, you read her book by her, she tells you, you know, she was engaged and she later married a Mobley. And I said, my roommate that was in Vietnam was a Mobley. He was Ronnie Spector. I don't think her last name, her and her sister's last name was Mobley. I think their mother got married. But so Mobley's was related to them, Ronnie Spector. Some of the Mobleys I knew. So look up if you related to them. Because them Spectors are from New York. My friend was from Bedford-Stuyvesant. So Mobley's out of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I think Ronnie is from Bedford-Stuyvesant too. You know, I think that's Brooklyn. So, yeah. he grew up with Connie Hawkins. Connie Hawkins was a little older than him, but he grew up with Connie Hawkins. Yep. With animals and all types of weird shit. Yeah, I don't know if Magic and animals, but Magic was known, like Will Smith, to fuck anybody. And there was little old weird men and Magic fuck, no doubt. So that was just, he was into anybody. That's why they loved him. Will Smith followed that same kind of thing, you know. So I can't say about animals. I don't know. It's a circus, you know. Some people want a circus. You know? Can't say that about my homeboy. I don't know if I can do this or not. I don't think I can. I don't think it show up on camera. I don't think it would show up on camera. But our weather's here been beautiful. We're supposed to have another beautiful day tomorrow. I'm going to play pickleball. What time is it now? 2. Got to be around 2:30 my time. Well, I doubt I'm going to get up early. Not going to get up early. Tobacco. I wanted to show you guys something, but I don't know if I can do it. But I'll try. I don't know if this will show up, but I'll try to see if I can do it. This ain't gonna work. Let's see. Maybe. Okay. So I got this ring. As I said before, I bought this ring because I had studied this before. And I kind of want to show you what I'm talking about. Now, even with the very, very, very little light, you see how this catches what little light there is? You see it? Okay. This ring is what's called an old cut. So this ring was mostly done in the 1700s. And when this ring was made, it was made and hand polished. So this group of rings are worth a whole lot, but it catches the light differently. And so this ring is really made to catch low light. You see how it's catching the light? This ring is really meant to shine under low light because the people that polished this ring were working by candlelight. So therefore, you find a little greater of the shine. Again, if you look at symmetry, this ring and this ring, if you looked at the how they're symmetrical, every attribute a diamond has, they both will have. But this ring is meant to work under different types of light. So a lot of people would look at this ring and not really understand. And it's worth double what I paid. But this is called old cut. Now some are called European cut, but this is old cut. So that means this came from Brazil. So just a little bit I wanted to share with you. Remember, love just is. I'm going to go ahead and cut it now. Love just is. So again, the true understanding of the creation ball field is that it is part of creation. That the ball field is part of creation. And so I think that is why I am here to talk as much about how they've corrupted this energy. As a person that's alive, that understands the sacredness of sports, and one that's truly understanding how they've corrupted what should be sacred, what should be religious. And so ball field goes into creation. So rest well. Those of you that get to rest, may you rest well. May you not be attacked by anything. May you be able to be protected by everything that's around you. So rest well. Those of you that are working, may you finish your shift safely. May you go home safely. And may you get the rest that you desire. Because again, the people that take this shift, we tend not to get a whole lot of rest. And as Form Runner said, rest is very important, which I agree. And remember, love just is. Love is supreme. Love trumps everything. Love trumps everything. It is. Love comes with it. Ain't no such things. Well, if you love me, I love you back. You with someone and they tell you, you know, they love you, and then one day it's like, well, I don't really love you today. Well, they never loved you in the first place. Love is supreme. I mean, to show you how low your love, if somebody loves you, they love you when you sitting there taking a shit, because that's just you, and you are a human, and that's something we do. My mother said that my stepfather didn't want her farting around him. That's what kind of control he wanted to have. Not understanding, or understanding, but it was a means of control. Telling her it's not ladylike to fart. I mean, it's not ladylike to be human. So, and I do bear that I am the only and the last, and hopefully not the last. I hope there's other time walkers, but right now it's just me. It's not easy being the only one and only, allowed to release so much, but I am allowed to release this. And so you know that something exists called the time walkers. It all started with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland, yet they knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent. And as the Mayan would say, I am another yourself, so treat me like you would treat yourself. I do try to do 4 or 5 nights, and this isn't easy. But those of you that listen, thank you very much. I try to give you the best of me. I try to give you the gentle. I try to give you the genuine part of me. And when I say I give freely, I do. If you watch it now, you get this for free. And so I appreciate everything. And as I say, things are getting better. Life is always good because it is life. And I have heeded the words of Siova. I've heeded the words of Brother Nick. And I'm getting it together, y'all. So for those of you that watch it now, thank you. And yeah, it's getting together, y'all. And you know what's interesting is the equipment doesn't change the message. That's the sad thing. The equipment doesn't change the message. Just because I end up getting equipment doesn't mean I change the message. The message is going to stay the same. Equipment doesn't change that. So still going to give you that message, the message that I live. You come to see me, I live this. What I talk about, I live. I have a spot that's out there that's on the ley line that I'm given. And as soon as I sit there, I've got this near me, the shock energy near me, and shock just circles me. And it's funny how you can create when you have a relationship with the elements, it's just funny how the elements will fuck with you, and just a tornado would just come around, and just the greatest feeling of energy that nature interact with you, because you are real when you come to nature. It ain't like one day you can just go out there, it's like nature, take control. No, you have to study this stuff for long enough where you're genuine in your study, and nature realizes that you love nature. Because you practice and love nature every day. So if nature has to help you, it's easy for it to help you because you live that. Saw a guy laying he's waiting to pick up his woman. He's laying in front of the car in the ground. I was like, wow. Looked out of place, but yet I understood and wanted to be that grounded. Even though he's looking up at his phone, he's laying in the grass. Like, wow. I'm going to end, and thank you. Thank you, Dana, and thank you, Love and Above, which I know y'all got me into the library. Thank you for that. I talk shit about you bitches, and you seem to like that. So I'm going to keep talking shit about you bitches as long as you don't fuck with me. Stick all them goddamn bugs. Quit that shit and irritating shit. But I know when it comes down to it, y'all want to see me win. Yeah. Yeah, I want to see y'all, man, win. I get that. I get that. You quit coming to my goddamn dreams. I appreciate that. Yeah, I want to see me win. So, right on to y'all. It's that spiritual pimping, you know. You know, spiritual pimping, you get the witches want you to win. You know, the witches want you to win. That's that spiritual pimping. Right on. Right the fuck on. So something about what I'm doing must be genuine. These chicks want me to still win. All this shit I talk about them. And they help me win. Right on. Right on. Because you know, it ain't too many people that watch me that wouldn't, that if they sat and kicked it with me, they'd be like, damn, this is just cool to kick it. And if you want to talk, it's like the woman that loves me. I did it to her mind first. You understand that? She did it to my mind first. Because if you can't do it to my mind, I ain't really got time to want to listen to you. You know, that's what it is. You got to get in my mind first. The physical, what does that mean to a 61-year-old man, you know? And them days was when I was 19, 20, the physical thing. That ain't got no sway over me. You can't do anything to my mental and raise my vibration. I ain't dealing with you. My best friend ain't spiritual. He don't practice none of this shit, but he's my man. We did. We can sit and talk. We've watched our children grow. We've given each other advice. That's all it is. He ain't got to be spiritual. He know I'm good people. He know if he got something going on, he can call me, and I ain't gonna hesitate. He come to me. You know, he come to me. You know, it's the same way. Like we was getting done playing pickleball. Say, what I need to do now? I'm like, man, you got it all. You getting it. Ain't got no advice. You getting it. You got all this quickness and all this stuff. You getting it. You getting it. So that's all. But yeah, I'm in a good place, y'all. Really am. Good. I gotta accept bad. See me three. You know, like when they show the Vietnamese, the mugs, and what was it called? Oh God, what was this shit called? Where they was, oh my goodness, the Deer Hunter, long motherfucking movie about Vietnam. They was putting this nigga, they was putting motherfuckers in jail. It was a hole with water in it, like just a deep ass hole with water, and they put some bamboo jail. You got to hold on to the bars. You in a hole of water, and you in jail. Hold on. They have you fucked up. How did I get here? Well, y'all, I guess this is it. 2.5 hours. Sorry I was off Friday. I was tired in the motherfucker. Man, I pickleballed my ass off Sunday. Yeah, I just didn't have it. So I don't want to come to y'all when I ain't got energy. I'll be like, well, you guys know, I really was meditating today and it was really far out. And, yeah, I try to bring energy, enough to whenever I watch this, they say I got energy. Again, I do not know how my last video was so fucked up. But that goes to show you when you try to improve the shit. I was just testing really to see how the sound in the room worked out, and they fucked the video. So it goes to show you. Sometimes they don't want to see you get better, but that's all right. It's gonna get better. So, y'all, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your main man from Japan, Big Pontiac. Take the name back. They disrespected their ancestor for long enough. So I'm called Big Pontiac. So when you hear Pontiac, you don't think of a car, you think of a person that's taking the power back. You're not going to name one of our ancestors a fucking piece of metal, and that's what people think it is. It ain't that. Pontiac was a person that disagreed with these motherfuckers and tried to take a stand. And because of the sellouts that had shiny shit in front of them at the time, didn't realize they trying to get rid of all the people like you. And we have people not realizing it's so brainwashed, they're thinking if they get rid of people like me, it's okay. Because I'm okay. I'm protected. They like me this week. But I'm here to tell you Pontiac was a living, breathing person that cared about this country, about melanated people, about keeping our country. And he fought for it and he gave his blood for it. So I take the energy back. Now, I may not reach a lot of people to change enough minds to tell you Pontiac was a person instead of a car. But I will reach the right minds to change their thinking, to make them realize that Pontiac was a person and not some metal. So I'm going to do that. Well, thank you for watching me. Thank you for comments. Comments help a lot. Comments help a lot. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your main fly guy, Big Pontiac. Till we meet again, say less.